Hello everybody and welcome to the ITK Soccer Show. It is the 27th of November 2018. Myself and Dan and John are here to talk about football. We're doing it at a weird time this week on the Champions League week, where we're talking about everything that's happened in the Premier League. Well, literally Tuesday's game is going to kick off. Tuesday's match day in the Champions League.
The big game is Leeds Reading, which you're watching right now.
Well, we have the pre-game of Leeds Reading on in the background, and
someone put their foot down.
One man's trash.
Champions League.
It's the only way we could get a show if we put Leeds on TV.
Yeah, bartering agreement. Speaking of bartering agreements, and before we talk about real football, Mick McCarthy. What do we have? Information-wise about this? Obviously, there's the jump to 2020. In terms of Mick McCarthy is literally only going to be around for a year and a half, right?
Pretty much. Well, like I did a video on O'Neill. It was the night before he got sacked.
So what you're saying is you caused all of this.
I did. Now, it was just kind of give my thoughts and everything. Like O'Neill, first of all, let's just credit O'Neill. Like what he did well went brilliantly.
Well, I don't know.
Bad,
like, we all.
What went bad went very bad, very quick. Right?
No, we're talking about the.
No, well, I just want to put out there. O'Neill, what he did right was good.
Right.
So,
but we are
McCarthy,
sorry, Dan. Just to clarify, we are talking about the Celtic photo that used to be in everyone's house in their friend's dad's den.
Yeah,
it was jumping really, really high.
It was like Jesus on the cross.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill celebrating, jumping really high.
Yeah. So like he did that very well, but what we don't see is his landing.
His poor knees.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking
But it
about
wasn't
here.
on grass and he was wearing studs. So
Yeah.
Go back to sitting in courtrooms. Wasn't that his hobby for a little while?
Did he do a bit of that?
I think he did.
Yeah, he liked going into.
Oh, he would just observe. He was a voyeur.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But anyway, in terms of the Irish team, Dan.
I think the one thing I'm happy with about this, I wasn't too sure when I kind of heard it. I was like, what is going on? But then I really kind of took time to think about it. And obviously I was actually quite intoxicated when I heard the news.
Were you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fibbers.
Oh, I thought we knew it was official, but before that.
No, the Stephen Kenny thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were still going to talk about
So
O'Neill.
I like the way there's actually a plan.
Yeah.
But it's like a plan that's just... something is going to go wrong with it. Does that make sense?
Crazy enough to work.
Like I've never heard of a guy take a job knowing that he knows his successor and when it's going to happen. Like I like the way that there's just planning and there's experience with Stephen Kenny. Make a scene as a firefighter going in there to get us to the Euros, regardless. Just get us there.
Yeah.
And then Kenny's going to learn. For the under 21s, he'll be dealing with the 21s to the 15s.
Yeah.
And he'll be dealing with some of those players who will be coming through, which I do like. I like that element. He'll be dealing with international football. He'll be liaising with Mick. He'll be liaising with some of the new the senior players as well, so they actually get to know him. So it won't just be a big shock.
But regardless, Dan,
what I'm saying is, though, it's just, I don't know, the transition just, I've never really seen anything like that in
I
my
don't
life.
think Mick seems too happy about it in his press conference.
He's delighted.
No, he wasn't, because he was asked, he said, first off,
He said he wouldn't sign the deal if he wasn't
he was
happy.
said, were you thinking of saying no because of this? And he said, of course not, because I didn't want them to take the job away from me. And he also said, well, anything can happen in 3 years. He could do a good job with the under 21s and get picked off to England, which is unlikely because he's not even going to have a full.
Well, no. Kenny
round
said
under 21s.
that. Oh yeah, by August 10th, I think it is. I would be a manager of Republic of Ireland 2020.
Oh, I know he knows this, but I think Mick is still a little hopeful though.
But
like,
say if Mick wins the Euros, just it's not going to happen.
Mick
But
qualifies
it's
for
just
the
like
Euros.
you know what I mean, like.
No,
that's just weird. It's just so weird.
I'm delighted with this because I wanted Mick to get it. Well, like I didn't want Mick to get it for the only reason that Ireland have a tendency to, like, once they hire a manager, unless it's like Steve Staunton, you're getting them for minimum 3 tournaments trying to qualify. Generally.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Like, and even if they tend to get to one, no matter how they are in the tournament, they get at least one to mess up completely, and then maybe one more to maybe try again.
Well, can I ask about Kenny? Like, it's really nice that he's coming from the background he's coming from.
He was never really a professional player.
No.
He's the kind of Brian Kerr route. Like, he's literally coaching for 20 years.
Well, can I touch on that for a second? Like, obviously he's coming from a nice background in terms of, like, you want to talk about someone who knows Irish players and stuff like that. But regardless of the work he does over the next year and a half, is he not going to be the most underqualified international manager we've had in...
No, absolutely. Steve Staunton.
Yeah,
he never managed a club before. He's coach of Walsall for 3 months.
I suppose.
And he's about it. Ironically, he's actually linked with the Dundalk job. Don't think he's going to get it.
He had more experience in the international setup, though. Like,
well, that's why I like that
he was a bad appointment. No, I agree with you. That's why, like I said, this appointment, like, you can't. knock it at all. I don't think really at the minute.
But,
I think if it
that's
works,
what I
it's
like
great.
about it. That I think that we needed a guy who's going to bring fresh ideas, fresh everything in. But to throw a guy in the way we are, that's what I'm saying. I think the FAI have done this right in terms of logically.
Yeah.
But nothing's ever just as smooth sailing as that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
can I
Like,
ask
what
you
happens if the players
about-
absolutely love Mick?
Yeah.
And it's like, here, we don't want this guy to go because like we're onto something here. Kenny comes in, it will cause issues.
Well,
now,
a
I
new
think
manager
that's
always
what
will.
Kilban said.
Yeah.
Sorry, Neil. I feel like we keep
yeah, did
interrupting.
you listen to that off the ball argument? It was very good.
He sort of said like that players might be, who is this?
Well, they'll
fella.
know Kenny
Yeah.
now. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
but
they'll
they've
know
got
him.
around that. But again, I'm worried about what the FAI are going to do in case the whole Kenny thing doesn't work.
But
because
can I
they
ask something
love-
about Kenny? Because this is what I was trying to get to in terms of his experience. Whatever about Staunton, at least Staunton played in the system, like John said. Staunton played with top class professionals in his club career. Kenny is coming from a background where he's never managed top players and he's never been a top player. He's never been around top players.
Well, Brian Kerr did all right. Jose Mourinho did all right. Wenger did all right.
Jose Mourinho at least was in a situation where
They're like top of the table sort of examples.
No,
You're
but
not
I'm
like,
just saying
where
though,
are the
there
other
are, there are
this is a
there are
little bit of a,
coaches
this is a
who-
little bit of a too sentimental idea, I think.
So you don't like it.
I think the man like needs to prove himself a bit more before he just gets this guaranteed job in a year and a half.
But like he's
Look
him
at
and
the
him
money
and
that's
Mick were
being
the
spent
only.
on international managers
Chris
across
Hughton
the
was going to
board.
take the job, right?
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers is sticking with Celtic for at least till the end of the summer. Okay, probably will stay on
what
longer.
about Carlos Quiros? He was,
Actually, wasn't a bad show. What he did a great job at Iran.
he did. That's what I was.
Very good job at Iran. But
John was just telling me to say that name.
the way though.
I struggled with names last time we did one of these shows. I'm definitely
No, but if we
Throwing
look,
out- throwing out a
if
few
you honestly
complicated
look at
ones.
it though, what Kenny can do, he did a brilliant job at Dundalk. Now he's had two jobs where he failed at badly, which were probably his two biggest jobs he had in his career, which was Dunfermline, got them relegated, got them to a cup final, but got them relegated, and Rovers, which is a disaster. But he did take on after Michael O'Neill, which was kind of like the chalice after Alex Ferguson thing, and Rovers are still going through that kind of period where they haven't really settled down. So, but what he's done with Dundalk has been outstanding now, and you know I hate
Yeah.
Dundalk.
But that's a very, very different level, Dan. I think it's too much
But
of a
I
sweetheart
don't
deal.
think there was a better candidate. If they want to go long term, they need a new
Dan,
strategy.
I
I've been
think-
saying
Dan,
this for years. They need a new strategy.
Dan,
They need younger players.
You're saying that there can't be a better candidate in a year and a half's time. They've made their bed far too early on someone who doesn't have
But-
experience.
I just wanna
But,
say-
but
I
they
just wanna
weren't.
say
But they
one
wanted
thing,
Kenny
uh,
long term. Well,
Yes.
this is what I was trying to say earlier. If they've appointed Kenny, right? They're going to go and listen to everyone. Oh well, we appointed Stephen Kenny. There's your League of Ireland guy. If it fails, they're going to go. Well, there you go. That we tried and we lost.
Well, then it's
That's
even,
what. No, but that's what's going to
well,
happen.
then it's an even worse appointment if the
No, but
underlying
I-
idea of sabotage is
No,
there.
but I think I like the thought that
Must be
there is
Steve Boyce
long-term planning, and what Kenny can do is implement a
I'll try and
style
fit a few more in.
and work with the underage groups and bring that through to the main team.
Yeah.
And after Mick restores some harmony in that dressing room because there's none,
Okay.
and that's what Mick is brilliant at. He makes a club level kind of mentality. Like you ask like any of Kevin Kilban, any of his main stuff, Gary Breen, any of those guys who were there for pretty much his whole 6 years he was in the job. He says like it was never a better squad. Like people love showing up for Ireland. They don't love showing up for Ireland anymore.
Oh, no,
At least Mick,
okay.
I think, could lay some ground rules,
Yes.
bases, and I think if it can work, I think Kenny will maybe bring new ideas, fresh things, and he'll like James McLean. He managed James McLean for Derry.
There's a
No one
far,
knows that.
There is a far clever way to have done this, though, Dan. And I know why you like it, but there's a far more clever way to have done this. Whether it's McCarthy or not, right? And McCarthy is a good idea, I think. But have Kenny on that coaching staff.
But he wouldn't want to be number 2.
Okay.
And Robbie Keane's coming in and Terry Connor.
Robbie, okay, this is absurd.
No, but I don't know about the Robbie Keane thing is about getting.
It's a morale thing. I
Yes,
understand that.
I don't think it's. I don't think. And Terry
Mick
Connor.
McCarthy called him a cheeky bollocks. Like Robbie Keane rang me.
Asked for the
like,
job.
yeah, how about
How about that, Urame? Look, at the end of the day,
And
Terry
Terry
Side
Connor has
Terry.
worked with Mick McCarthy for he's got to
Okay,
15
no.
years
Mick-
and was a very good number 2 for him.
Mick has to have people he trusts. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But Kenny should be working his way up the ranks through the senior international track rather
But do
than
you not think
on
though
the
that
semi-professional.
Yeah, but the under 21s though, is he not earning his corn there? Like he was left in.
He's only there for a year and a
He's
half,
been
though.
left
He's
It's
in.
only a year and a half.
Yeah,
At
but
least he
he's
can have a
left
year and a
an
half of
absolute
seeing
mess
what's going on.
by Noel King.
Yeah.
Absolute mess by him, which is the best news to happen for him to leave, right?
Yeah.
But I just think people should give this guy a chance, and I think who actually wants the job Mick would be what in 2 years' time 62. He's around 60.
That doesn't matter.
I'm just sometimes new ideas, fresh
We
thinking.
did all love Trapattoni one stage, and he was 100 when he took over. What about Sir Bobby when he was?
Staunton's number 2.
Yeah, that went well.
I just sorry, I just had 2 things to say there. One, there was a moment there where Dan compared Shamrock Rovers to the reign of Sir Alex Ferguson in Manchester United, and we let him away with it because he was fairly
No,
passionate
it's the
there.
same context.
It's absolutely not.
It is the same context.
I didn't really.
Well, it is the same context.
I'm for this because Stephen Kenny could play some good football with Dundalk if he could get Ireland playing. The short term, the FAI, we need to get to the Euros because we're hosting matches. The long term, if the next World Cup is Qatar, if we don't qualify for that, no one's going to be too upset.
John,
about
is he not playing good football in the context of relativity to that league? It's not that he can transfer
he played
the good international
Maccabi
football.
Tel Aviv off the pitch in Europa League.
Okay.
And I know that's not massive standards, but the resources that he's dealing with against Dundalk.
AZ Alkmaar is not playing Italy. It's not playing Spain.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but for the players he has with Dundalk, he's playing a much better style, and it's a completely different mentality. He had some amazing program notes.
Is it that bad?
What?
It's bad to ask for a manager who has experience. Is it actually that ridiculous?
Well, we had Martin O'Neill.
We had Martin O'Neill, and me and you wouldn't have gone to the Euros if it wasn't for Martin O'Neill. I don't see a man who has never literally coached a top player or never played with a top player bringing us to the Euros, especially when we've less of a talent pool than we've ever had. This is a sweetheart deal that's not going to work.
That's why it's a good time to bring him in. Because
I think it's such a transition.
At least he knows the players that aren't very good.
I think we can give him a couple of years. He's got a year and a half, whatever, in 21s. Work with the young players. They'll be coming through. They'll get to know his style. He can implement that. He'll go down to the main team. Hopefully then Mick will change the mentality in terms of happy camp and everything like that. And then Kenny, like little things. He said an amazing thing in the programme notes for the FAI Cup final, and I recommend anyone to actually read them. And he's like, just because you're Irish doesn't mean you can't pass or want to play football. And it was not a dig at the Irish football team. It was just like,
it's a nice bit of positivity.
It was positivity, and like I said before, and if you watch my video, Martin O'Neill had a thing like in the game against Northern Ireland, 0-0, we're being outplayed. There was no urgency. It was just like, we're happy to be 0-0. We're happy to get a draw in a friendly match. Ball rolls right past his foot. Doesn't even stop it to give it to the wing back for a throw in. Just this mentality. It's just negative. And I think at least if Kenny can produce at least that positive thing with Ireland, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I'm glad there's a plan. I don't know if it's going to work. And you know what I think of the FAI, but I'm glad there's never been a plan in Irish football for 30 years.
Dan, I don't want to say I told you so.
We haven't had any.
Trapattoni not a 30-year plan.
It wasn't a 30-year plan. Look, I don't want to say I told you so on this, right? Yeah. So no sleep till.
Well, what do you? So do you think it'll work?
You missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Only he would have. No, I don't think it's going to work, Dan. I don't think it's going to work.
John,
I'd rather it did.
Like I said, I'm happy with the appointment. I like the idea of Ireland playing good football under Stephen Kenny. I do think he would have got the job too soon if he got it straight away, and I didn't want 6 years of Mick McCarthy.
Agree with that, yeah.
So right now, like ideally, I don't know why the appointment had to happen so quickly.
For Mick?
No, well, I think the joke second captain's made where John Delaney didn't want to arrive at the Euro qualification draw without a pretty young thing in his arm, which would be the Ireland manager.
So he brought Mick in.
Yeah, brought Mick in. Just something to...
All right, guys.
I'm so behind this appointment, and I hope it works. Now, I'm taking your points quite clearly now. I agree with what you're saying, but I just think that we need to just get behind the manager, and I've been behind every single Irish appointment.
Yeah.
Like I watch every single Irish friendly. I go to matches. I got a match I can go to.
Dan, it's not about not being behind the manager. It's the fact that he's not the manager is what I'm not behind. You know what I mean? I'm saying that it's very. I think it's.
Well, it was wrong. It'd be wrong to appoint him this week as manager.
Agreed, but I also think it's very counterintuitive to say that this is the best option in a year and a half.
I've been behind. The only last couple of managers I wasn't really behind appointing was obviously Staunton for number 1, and Brian Kerr taking him out of the youths.
You were like 10.
What for what?
Staunton.
Even younger.
17.
Fair enough, you were. Okay, listen. Let's move on to the Premier League. We'll run through this because I know that there's only a couple of things people want to talk about. I'll still give you match by match, and you can tell me what you thought of Brighton. A little bit of Murray. little bit of Vardy.
Murray should have made it 2-0 in this match. Lovely header by Murray to start. Madison got sent off really early for a cheeky dive. He did apologise.
He did apologise.
He says you don't want to bring that into this beautiful game, when he literally brought it into the beautiful game.
To be fair, he did apologise.
But it was a silly tackle to give. I'm not sure who gave away it for the Leicester penalty, but I think Brighton were unlucky not to get the win there.
They should have got it, especially against 10 men. But, you know, Leicester under Puel, they're probably as good as they're going to be when they're any manager, really. And I think Brighton will be fine. And they're two mid-table teams and move on.
So Sigurdsson again, coming out of the fiery ashes of the Everton team of number 10s.
Well, there was like 5 of them. There was like 5 number 10s playing in one team last year.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
And now, this year, it's only him. And he's actually been given number 10 jersey. And he's been very good.
And what did this result mean?
Well, they're ahead of Man United.
Exactly.
So
incredible.
I was going to say that...
and that's what their goal is, to break in the top 6.
I watched Match of the Day on Saturday morning, and this match was so boring that Match of the Day were trying to get drama out of it. They showed a throw-in that should have been given the other way and something else. They're like, oh, Harry Arthur, unlucky not to be sent off. And so
it was nothing like Norwich and Watford, though. You know,
Norwich?
Not Norwich and Watford, sorry. It was Wolves and Watford, wasn't it?
No. Wolves and Huddersfield.
No, it was a Watford game because it was...
Watford lost to Liverpool.
Sorry, hold on. No, I'm not talking about this weekend.
Oh.
I'm talking about the...
Cardiff and Huddersfield had a lovely 0-0 start of the year.
No. There was a game where Sky Sports spent 7 minutes of the first 45 minutes on Elton John.
Well, it must be... Oh, it was Watford.
It was Watford.
It was Watford Spurs.
It wasn't Watford Spurs. It was definitely another bottom team.
You sure?
Yeah, because Elton John started stopped looking at the camera, but his kids kept looking at the camera.
Because they named a stand after him.
Oh no, he was just in the crowd. They had nothing to do, so they just kept showing him, and he got really upset.
Same thing happened in Kingsman 2.
Because they just kept showing him.
Is he in Kingsman?
He's in Kingsman 2. He said no to Kingsman 1.
I like Kingsman 1.
He said it was the biggest mistake of his life, so he's in Kingsman 2.
Good.
And Kingsman 2 is the biggest mistake of his life.
Fulham got their first win under Ranieri. Mitrovic got 2, and Yakampi Shirla got 1. Armstrong with
second goal, unreal.
Second goal,
Great goal.
both goals for Southampton. So what do we think of Ranieri?
Here's an
we haven't really
amazing
talked
stat.
about Ranieri.
Mitrovic is the highest ever scorer in the history of the Nations League.
Oh yes, sir. That's a stat I can get behind. That's incredible.
He's a shithouse. There's no better match for Ranieri to start in than Southampton at home. Mark Hughes is still in the job.
He still conceded 2 goals to Southampton at home.
Would I put a bit of trivia before the next bit of trivia?
Who's the highest goal scorer in the Nations League?
How many games have Southampton won this year?
Southampton?
Yeah.
1, I think.
Oh, I know. It's 3, isn't it?
It's in the Premier League.
It's 1.
It is 1.
They've drawn a lot of matches, but
I know Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes has won 3 of his 21 matches in charge, and he's like, "Oh, this poor team."
I think though, with Southampton,
fans are upset.
They're no good.
You predict
I think they're better than other teams down there. To be said though, if anyone watched Huddersfield the other night, I must say they were bloody brilliant.
Wow!
I can't believe I'm actually saying this.
Jesus.
They were really good against Wolves.
Fans in a good mood.
Yeah, you switching it up on poor old Huddersfield.
Can we go
Well,
back
I'm
to
just
the
saying
Cardiff game?
they actually did well, Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And I was actually kind of happy for them because they played pretty well. And Wagner's doing unreal job there. Why does man not manage the season every year with the resources he has? It's just
He's not a bad man.
Neil, before
we talk about United.
Well, I'm going to say on Saturday.
Sorry.
On Saturday, I was looking forward to whatever. I was looking forward to watching football, and on Saturday, Virgin TV, the worst TV, don't tell you what Ireland Sky are showing. It's sort of like a lucky dip.
It's a lucky dip.
So I was like, I obviously a Liverpool fan. I hoped it would be Liverpool Watford.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll even watch City. City are great to watch. I'll watch them. Or Ranieri's first game. I cannot wait to see it. And I was like, it's United Palace. I'll watch this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? United will win, but it'll be worth. United are dreadful. Palace were unlucky not to win this match.
We watched a bit of... Was that Kayata goal... That should have been disallowed.
Yeah,
we watched a bit of it
offside.
in Fibbers, and I didn't see this match today.
Sorry?
What was Fibbers?
We just went... We were at a family do.
We were out drinking all Saturday.
We were, yeah. It was something else.
I was also out drinking on Saturday. It's a lovely time to be drinking.
You could have given me a shout, mate. Were you in the Dunleary? Were you in the D to the L?
I wasn't in the Dunleary.
In town?
I was in town.
What the fuck? We watched the Liverpool game together, me and Dan.
You didn't tell us you were in Fibbers.
Oh dear, what an oversight. Shall we stop the show?
I'm
Anyway,
being replaced by a family member. This match was dreadful.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a piece of me.
So who got hooked at half time? Pogba got hooked.
Pogba
Right.
got hooked later on.
No, it wasn't a half time.
It wasn't a half time.
It was
It was
after-
early
Lingard
enough.
or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, no. From what I saw, Man United were
They're not
atrocious,
good.
and
I think
Rio
they play young
Ferdinand
boys
went
tonight,
mad
though.
at the end of the game. Like he's like, this is like they're just literally palace with all the ball, and there was no pressure on them. It's just.
Fellaini
but like-
with short hair is off-putting
Do you
as
know,
well.
do you know the last time
I
Lukaku
knew,
scored
I
at
knew
home?
someone was going to mention that.
It's.
What?
I was trying to
Lukaku
figure
hasn't
out
scored
who
at
it
home in
was.
like 8 months.
Herrera's gotten very tall. Sorry, go ahead. He
Lukaku
is-
hasn't scored a goal at home in like 8 months.
That can't be true.
It is.
It is.
In
And
the
it's their
Premier
first
League,
clean
yeah.
sheet in a long time. Mourinho
Yeah.
did something that he said that anyone who isn't
to
able
ma-
to play at home should stay home. And I don't mean home. I mean home. What's his exact quote? There.
Well, that makes sense. They're playing young boys tonight. They need a
should
result.
win that.
They're
Like,
playing it at home.
Well, they beat Juventus away, so they're
That was
pretty much
an
qualified.
absolute
now.
fluke. They beat Juventus away.
Or was it?
I don't know if it was.
No, it was.
Except
it
for the
was.
three
It
shots.
really, it was 1-0
And they hit the post 3
coasting.
times. Yes.
And
And
85
Khedira-
minutes, and then
all
it ended up
Juventus is
1-2.
like a game of FIFA
Okay.
when your number 6 keeps getting your best chances. Khedira kept getting all the Juventus' best chances.
You lads just don't know how to play the game, right?
I sure
That's
don't.
it. I gave you an opportunity to at least give Man United a little bit of credit in a very good second half performance this season. Less than 2 weeks before we go to the Theatre of Dreams. And here you guys are shoveling the shit on the grave
Yeah,
already.
we're going to see Man United Fulham.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
No, I'm really looking forward to that. But like,
It'd be-
just
it'd
what
be
I'm saying
like
is
if
just keep it
Ranieri
easy,
now
you know?
can do a job on them, you know.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
He
Oh,
won't.
I'd lose the plot.
But we wouldn't be able
Oh,
to
what's he
lose the
doing,
plot.
keeper?
Okay,
Jesus.
okay,
Sorry.
you're all right. Anything else to be said about the Palace game, gentlemen?
Palace still can't score.
That is true, even with Sacco in the team. Not Sacco in the team.
Sacco?
Was Saha back?
Saha. But see, like, but Hugo's still injured, and your man's Sorlot up front. He is useless. Like,
Yeah, unlike
And
Hugo, who's not useless.
he's probably a bit better. Jordan
Really?
Ayew as well. He doesn't really score much. Oh, go on. Chance here now. Let's score.
Okay, good. Just going to move on now. Watford and Liverpool. It was a pretty nice second half performance by Liverpool. Salah getting goal, Firmino getting his first goal in what seems like forever, and after a wonderful goal for England in midweek, Alexander Arnold scores a tremendous free kick.
Alisson made a great save in the first half to keep Liverpool level.
Sure.
And then Liverpool started turning the screw in the second half and probably deservedly
That
won
was
the match.
Now, can I ask you something I didn't see, and I've been so up
it
the
was a
ruddy
really
wall,
good
I didn't see it.
performance, though, to win,
Is
to win
it-
3-0
was
there.
it Firmino rubbing the salt off himself?
Okay, no, maybe you can tell us about that.
It's apparently a classic Brazilian celebration that if you've gone a long time without scoring, a bit of a drought,
Yeah.
that when you score, you shake the salt off yourself. So his celebration was, while checking with the linesman if he was onside, shook the salt off himself.
Tell me about the Henderson red card.
He was being a bollocks. He did one when it was 0-0, success sort of broke away and he dragged him down. And then a proper Englishman got a warning off the ref going, right, if you do that again, I'm sending you off. And then a few minutes later did it again and walked away. Walked straight down the tunnel, handed the armband to Van Dijk and didn't even look for the red card.
Van Dijk having the armband is something I can get behind, as
Yeah,
I've said
You
for a few
really,
weeks.
like, you guys should be really thinking of doing that now. I know Henderson and Milner have done, to be honest, they've done really well as captains, like, and they're good guys to have in the dressing room. But like, you gotta just
Derby next week.
you gotta see how Virgil van Dijk is going now, and it's just like
I know.
he's just captain material at the back.
I
And
know.
I think as well, Ramos is 32, 33. I don't want to be saying he'll go there in a year or two, but
Well, Ramos
could
will have
be-
a drug ban in a couple of weeks.
well, you don't know what's going to happen there, and he would be perfect for Madrid.
Did you guys hear about the 5-year add-on deal for Liverpool and Barcelona players?
Yeah.
I
Well,
never
it's
knew.
not
I
5 years,
never
it's
knew.
not.
It is not for the next 5 seasons.
No,
No.
it's only different. There was like 5 windows, so they can.
Oh,
do
5
it.
windows. I just didn't know a deal like that could exist.
But sure, who would they buy really? Like,
Well,
I don't think
Mane signed a new deal, so
Everyone
like,
has
the three
signed up
guys
new
who
deals.
signed up. Van Dijk, I don't think would go to Barca. Not with PK there, I don't think. And
I'm sure Virgil van Dijk would consider Barcelona.
and Firmino or Mane.
I'm sure they'd all consider it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
it's a
Fabinho
good
would
clause. It's
consider
a
it.
very clever clause whoever put that in.
It's-
If it
I
was-
didn't know you could.
If it was like I've heard of things like, oh, you're buying our player this week and we're playing you next week. Well, just look, you're not play him. I've
Of
heard
course,
that
yeah,
before.
yeah. But this
But,
is
you know,
insane though, because it's a base cost of 89 million before the cost of the player.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
nuts.
absolutely cleaned up on that Coutinho deal these days.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was crazy money.
Although they are not going to come in for anyone else, which is, I guess, in a way,
Yeah, that's
nice
why they
safety.
signed it.
City and West Ham, the
This match
usual
was
City
over
performance.
very quickly.
Yeah.
City keep scoring the same goal. It's like a glitch in the matrix. Look, Sterling scored the same goal in every match this season. I'm pretty sure. Just
He's,
someone cutting in and just
Yeah,
60 yard box.
it's the Sané cut in, right? Bernardo Silva scored the same goal 3 times, where he comes in and he runs like straight through the box, but from a horizontal angle, and just literally hits the ball and goes bleep.
Man City haven't conceded a goal in the league from play since like September 18th
sweet
or something
Jesus.
mad like that.
You know, like they're
They must be
they're
appalled.
probably more focused than they were last year.
Well, no, because
Like-
this time last season they'd almost like won the league. Do you remember they?
yeah,
they'd won like
no, but
13
what I'm
matches
saying,
in a
no,
row
what
or
I'm saying
something.
is though, like
Had they not
last
won
year,
that-
no
done that
one
this
was
time?
near them, right?
Yeah, that's
like
what I mean,
Liverpool
it
are
must
only
be
2
so
points behind them, but like they just seem even more focused. They don't give sloppy goals away. Like they're actually a better team than last year, and I've never seen a team playing this well go under the radar so much, and that's how good Guardiola's been, because it's like the standards are just so high.
You can't stop talking about Liverpool though, which I'm enjoying.
Well, why do you think that is?
I think
Well, he
I honestly
keeps
think
being asked
that
about Liverpool, to be fair.
they want to do the same thing. Like Dan is right, they are better this season, but I honestly think that they thought they'd have a bit more, because the Champions League is obviously their goal, and I think
But Guardiola came out this week and said if we can't win the Champions League, it's a failure.
yeah, exactly. So like that's their goal, and I just think he wanted a little bit more wiggle room. Like they had a lot last season,
Yeah.
and now
Would you-
they
if
have
I
Liverpool
offered
at
you
2 points
In the
and
title race with 5 games left, in the title race, like literally you say 2 or 3 points behind with 5 games left, or guaranteed semi-final of Champions League right now, what would you take?
take the lead.
I would take the league because
I know you
I
haven't
need to
won
see
it,
that
but-
in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, not that it hasn't happened in my lifetime, but
So
I was
3
like
points.
three.
I don't think either will.
So you think
happen.
you'd beat City in a shootout then for the last few games?
No, not
not
necessarily.
at all.
No, but I'd rather.
You'd rather that.
I'd
okay.
rather the
Depends where
chance.
City really are.
Um,
I just think City, like, I don't think anyone can, because like even the football writers were like, it'll be miles off. But like Spurs are only 5 points behind.
Yeah, but no. And
They had a
here's-
rough start of the season, apparently.
Speaking of Spurs, by beating Chelsea, which is the next thing we're going to talk about, Chelsea's first defeat in like 17 games or something, and Spurs are now ahead of them.
Yeah,
Which I didn't realise how close they were. Goals from Ali, Kane and Son, and Giroud got one back.
Well,
but
it's
Spurs
great to
were
see
great.
that the
Spurs
only
smashed
tactic
them.
you have to do against Chelsea is literally just stop Jorginho and just
Yeah.
put him
Yeah.
under pressure. And
it was wonderful. It was an amazing performance by Spurs.
They were great.
they played well.
It's the first time this season that Kane, Ericsson, Son, and Ali have all played together.
That is correct. Well, Son was gone for the first
Yeah.
quite some time. Then Ali was injured, and Ericsson was injured as well. So yeah, it makes sense. And they were a foursome that caused the madness last year.
I had to
Can you fit Lucas Moura in there? You can't.
I had to
really.
rewind the Kane goal. It was so strange. I just could not understand what happened. Like I know Luis turned away and stuff, but the keeper was flat-footed. It was just.
You mean they're
absurd.
having a
So-
By
great
the way,
old chat
Luiz
about
is
that
playing a little
keeper.
bit better this year. He's still absolutely useless.
Well, I think he
Like,
has,
he's
he has a
still
few
awful.
big mistakes in him.
But like,
Gets a
he
lot of
seems to
blame
be making
for that.
loads of mistakes. Like I'd love to see a stat. Like I'd say he must have made like
There's some stat going around that
must
he was
have made
at fault
about-
for 64% of the goals Chelsea have conceded.
really.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Well, I don't
But like
think that's
he
football.
just seems all over the place. Like I think like I know Conte is gone and all that, but the 3 at the back suited Luiz perfectly.
Yeah.
That like he could play in the middle. He had 2 guys either side, and if he wanted, he could step out with the ball and play it because that's what he was good at. You know, I don't know. He's not going to work on a 2. And I said the start of the season, I'd be still worried of them long term centre halves.
Speaking of
Especially and
making,
Cahill's leaving as well now in January apparently.
yes. Speaking of making mistakes, and I did not get to see all 90 minutes of this, but I heard Mkhitaryan had the show of all shows
He's bad.
against
He's bad.
Bournemouth. Now, is this just because he is like, you know, and has been in the past very good, or was this an all-time worst performance?
I don't think he was great.
I heard some
Considering
amazingly bad
like
stats.
Emery said that he dropped Ozil because he couldn't think Ozil would handle the tough cold day in Bournemouth.
Really silly thing
A
to say.
cold day in Bournemouth. It's nice down there. You're almost in France.
Well, apparently not. It's the toughest away game in all of the Premier League.
I didn't hear about this. Aubameyang
He's
coming
also
on and
learning
rescuing
English from Peaky Blinders.
old school.
Yeah, like classic.
So Aubameyang
Good
coming
show.
on, he has taken less time to score 30 goals for Arsenal than Henry or someone else. Anyway, he's no, it wasn't Lord
He only got
Benchnar.
29.
But so Aubameyang's doing amazing, and he scored like the most goals off the bench of anyone in the last few seasons. As well.
See the own goal by Lerma. That was something
Well,
else, wasn't
that-
That was a
yeah.
lovely finish.
it?
Well,
Bournemouth did okay again, but like it's almost like Bournemouth. They've lost 2-1 at home now to Arsenal and Man United, and it's just you're kind of like, oh, maybe they're too open in those games, and they're just trying to outdo them. But another team will probably be in top 10, and Fair to Arsenal, like obviously the Arsenal they lost to City and Chelsea started the league, unbeaten since then, and they're doing pretty well. So I don't know. Arsenal are only 2 points behind Chelsea,
Yeah,
something like that. So
Yeah.
I think they're quietly going under
like
the
it's
radar.
No,
absolutely
yeah,
like,
no,
like
absolutely,
you look at
yeah,
it like
yeah.
this is the year that Emery had to maybe go and concentrate and win the Europa League. That's his route back to the Champions League and implement his style and stick with it and be harsh with the players. Like he couldn't really have asked for a better start.
No,
Really,
I
you know?
completely agree, especially after the start they
Big
did
game
have,
this weekend
you
as well
know?
against Tottenham. And
Yeah.
Mike Dean is going to be referee for
So
it.
what do we have this weekend? We have the Merseyside derby and we have
North London derby. It's always ironic that these games are always on the same weekend, isn't it?
No, it's not ironic. It's meticulously planned out.
Oh, I know.
Is this Huddersfield versus Wolves performance the one that you were giving them credit for?
Yeah, 2-0.
I was
And
getting quite angry that-
they were really good. They were really good. Aaron Moy shouldn't be playing that club. He's too good.
Burnley and Newcastle. So
Sorry,
Newcastle
just
2-1, and you
sorry,
wanted
on the Huddersfield game, I could not believe we were discussing ourselves, the Leeds and other teams complaining about the Championship TV schedule. but
yes, we were discussing it in
these
private.
Super Sundays are atrocious. Like just waking up with a hangover on a Sunday and you're like, oh, what's the 4 p.m. game? It's Wolves Huddersfield. It can fuck off.
I
Show me
think
show me United Palace.
I can't, I long for the days of United Palace. I can't remember a year that has had worse Super Sundays.
Or even
Since
Monday
the
night.
season.
There hasn't been a good
And
Monday
just
night
been like
football either.
14 weeks.
Yeah, Newcastle,
One Monday night football
Newcastle,
there was a
Burnley.
good 2-2.
Well, speaking of Monday night football
2-2
here,
between Southampton and Brighton.
now you
like
want to
occasionally.
talk about Rafa specifically after Newcastle put. Is this their third win on the bounce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they were like bottom of the league.
They were?
Start of October.
Now Fulham still are, but anyway.
Or no, even probably mid-October they probably were. And now, really good upturn. But it's just saying, if Rafa left that club, now, I think he'll stay to the end of the season, regardless of what happens in January.
Of course he will.
But like, if they lose him, like Jesus, like, I don't know what they're hoping to do. Like, but
Get Martin O'Neill in.
Okay, so will we have a little bit of a chat about the Champions League there, lads? We talked about United and the young boys tonight, and it's a crucial game for United. Juve and Valencia, obviously Juve have to win that after what happened
Valencia,
in Turin.
Valencia have to win definitely. If they lose, which they probably will, because they're no good, and Juventus. Man United should beat young boys. Then
All
that's
the
Juventus.
Roma and Madrid as well.
All the players in the Italian league wore a red sticker on their face to point out abuse against women, which was
And Ronaldo wore it as well.
he did,
Was that
which
during that? That was okay. That was during the week or
Yeah.
during the weekend. Well, that's really cool, isn't it? I've had a very tough weekend. We didn't get to see much. There is a couple more exciting games tomorrow. Obviously, PSG and Liverpool is huge for both teams. A draw makes everything wacky. A win for either one kind of cancels the other team out. And
So
there's
it's
no
going to come down to that Napoli-Liverpool game.
there's no
at the end.
Neymar and there's no Mbappe.
Are
Is
they
that still
not fit
true?
now though?
I'm not too sure. This was the report as of yesterday.
It looks like Mbappe might be, but Neymar. I think Liverpool. PSG might play better if those two didn't play.
Yeah.
They tend to be better as a
Would you
team.
rather face one or the other?
I would take Neymar probably over Mbappe. I think Mbappe's just
Yeah,
so
but you're quick at the back though, you know.
I'm not really too worried about us conceding. I'm more worried about us going away from home. in the Champions League.
Choupo-Moting might need to play.
He's a good lad.
Yeah, he is. Inter and Tottenham as well. Tottenham need to win here.
Inter get a result. They're through
Yep.
to the
and
knockout stage for
Barca
the first time
play,
since 2012.
The
other
first time
side
since
team in the group,
2012, which was the year after they won it. Is that right? They won 2011, didn't they?
Who?
Inter. Was that 2010?
2010.
That was
then.
2010. Okay. All right, lads. What else do we have to talk about here today? Oh, Dan, you wanted to touch on the River Plate and Boca Juniors insanity in all caps.
Do you hear about it?
Yeah, they got tear gassed the bus and the glass smashed.
Tevez got like no one could see or anything like that, and then apparently they were put under pressure to play the match, and people were getting sick, and
Oh, Jesus.
buses were smashed.
It's the biggest
It was
match. It's
just
the first ever time
Yeah.
that like their Champions League final was getting
Yeah.
played in Argentina with the two Argentinian teams. So that's why there was so much pressure on
So
it.
whose fans started the
it was
issue?
It was a Desmond in Boca and River, right? So
Sure.
it's Boca Juniors ground. Then
Yes.
it went to River for the away leg for Boca, and that's where all the trouble started. Now, apparently, I've heard it was the Argentinian mafia were involved
Oh, lovely.
and all this, and like it was just madness. Now
There's a
they have
reason why there's
rearranged
no
the
away
game.
fans
the
at these
weekend of the-
matches. Like there's been a
weekend
lot
of
of
the-
deaths in Argentinian football. Like
Weekend of the 8th, 9th, it's going to be rescheduled, not in Argentina. So I don't know if they're going to play it in Brazil or Chile or something. They might probably play it in Chile.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is that FIFA have made a big rule about Spanish teams not being allowed to play abroad.
But I don't think it's but for safety reasons.
Well, it might be for safety.
Like Boca Juniors,
Boca Juniors should,
and the CONMEBOL or whatever it's the South American
well,
organization.
people are complaining because
for River to be thrown out.
Well, River should have been thrown out after the semi-final because their manager was suspended, but still went to the dressing room and gave a team talk. So they were like, he should have been gone then. But obviously, Argentinian FA, like it's the big match. It'd be like Real Madrid, Barcelona getting to a Champions League final.
Like
it's like it's the biggest game for so. They kept on pushing it. Again, River fans attacked the bus, so it should have given to Boca again. But again, the match is so big.
That they have to do it.
So they need to find a way to play it because they have to go to Qatar and
who'd
play
be a River Plate fan here?
World Club
Who'd be Boca fan?
I'd be more of a Boca fan.
Boca, yeah. But an Irishman set up at the Boca Juniors.
That's right.
Maradona played for them as well.
Yep.
So that'd be kind of... I have a Boca Juniors shirt.
Maradona on the news this week.
Oh, are you talking about his? What was that?
Do you watch any? He took over like a Mexican football team. It's like, oh, have you been?
It's the cocaine capital of the world.
Have you been keeping up with Mexican football?
Yeah. No, the question was, what do you think of the quality of it? And he either thought it was so shit that he didn't want to say it, or he was just out of his bin, or a bit of both.
Well, remember the World Cup? He fell asleep.
He had quite a day. He had quite a day.
And then he started like giving the fingers to the Nigerian players because they lost. Like it was just.
Niko Kovac under pressure at Bayern. I think Hoffenheim drew against them this weekend.
Oh, they're like fourth or fifth now.
Was Stuttgart?
Might have been Stuttgart.
Like when are they getting the Joe Pinkus getting the call to we need some help jump?
The thing, yeah.
Like that could happen again.
Could you imagine?
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Like he won't be there at the end of the season. Like I can't.
All right, boys.
Like when's the last time Bayern actually bought new players?
Well, they got Ham on loan 2 seasons ago.
They're not really.
No, they still play Robin and Ribery in the Champions League.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're still Robin and Ribery are still there.
How can you not? No, seriously, when's the last time they bought someone new and good? Did Kimmich come up through the ranks?
Kimmich came through the ranks. Yeah.
But
Thiago was probably the last guy. But that was
their defenders embarrassed themselves during the
Sule is a good player coming, but they bought him off. I think it might have been off Hoffenheim.
I wanted Liverpool to sign your man Goretzka that they signed this summer.
Me too.
Yeah, well,
they're still signing players. They're still signing people after rivals.
They're not like
they are. They're having a bad season.
They haven't signed a superstar in a long time.
No, but the board is giving out and stuff, and I just think superstars are just going for far too much money.
Like Dortmund are running away with that league. The way they're playing.
Yep,
they're great.
Guys,
who's the manager of PSG?
Tim Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel.
Give me
Tim Tuchel.
This looks a running joke now. Lads, I need your help, right?
Yes.
I think we've done 4 of these, all right? Most expensive 11s. Oh, yeah. Who haven't we done? What teams haven't we done?
Chelsea and we did Spurs.
Don't remember this quiz.
We did Chelsea and Spurs.
Did we do City?
We did Liverpool, I know that.
Did we do City? Who did we do?
We did Liverpool, I remember that.
Yeah, we did do
Liverpool.
So
they're the 3 then we've done.
We definitely did Spurs, though.
That's the 3 then we've done, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do.
And we did Chelsea as well. Yeah.
See, we're gonna if we do Arsenal, Dan's gonna whoop you at Arsenal because he does have quite a disposition
all of them anyway.
for them. All right. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start. We're gonna give. We'll just do hands up in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Thank you. Okay. So the most expensive goalkeeper, Dan.
Leno.
That is correct. That's 1 for Dan.
Wait, who are we doing?
Arsenal. Is it Casey Keller?
I thought it was City. I'm very.
The most expensive left back, Dan.
It's gotta be
Kane?
Monreal.
That is correct. Their most expensive right back. John, hands up. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
You go on, John.
Was it Lichtsteiner?
No.
Is it Lauren?
Okay, back to John.
Bellerin.
Back to Daniel.
Sagna.
Back to John.
Clichy.
And back to Dan.
Eboué.
They did have a lot of fullbacks. And back to John.
Now, is he actually a right back?
Yeah. I think he's a little bit both.
He plays in what?
Yeah.
Is it a left back playing right back?
No, maybe a little bit. Go on.
Is it Andre Santos?
No, it's not. It's Debussy.
Ah.
Bought from.
Bought from
Newcastle.
Yeah.
It doesn't say that here, by the way. Okay, so most expensive centre back. Pick anyone you want. Dan. John, you can really try and get in here a bit.
Mustafi.
Correct, and free play for John. Their other expensive centre back.
Sorry, I'm not even looking. I got my eyes can't.
Oh, that's fair enough. Actually, this is pretty tough. Dan, go for it.
Is it Socrates?
It is Socrates, who I always forget
I
about.
think Big Mert. I just remember that window where they went absolutely mad.
Where
and
they
got,
sold
like,
all their players and Wenger
Yeah.
realised, I've no one left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teta and Big Mert will save the day.
Most expensive wing player can also play is a part of a forward front three. Wing player can also play as part of a forward three on the wing as well, but
Mkhitaryan?
no, John.
Oh, I swapped.
Arshavin.
No, Dan.
He's not on there at all, no?
No, he's not.
Oh.
Is it Aubameyang?
No, it's not. He can play as part of a front three in any position and also on the wing.
Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez. The other player is really number 10, but is accounted here as a left winger for no
Also.
reason. Yes, that is correct.
Awful.
Most expensive DM come CM.
Xhaka?
Correct.
Yes, actually,
Most
that was on
expensive DM come CM again, but mostly CM.
Is it Xhaka again?
No, it's not Xhaka again.
It's
It's it's the other Xhaka.
It's their
Torreira.
current team they have.
Okay, and most expensive centre forward.
Aubameyang.
Pick anyone. Yes,
Lacazette.
and yes, and like I said, well done, gentlemen.
Think
Now,
it's a draw, was it? Call it draw.
if we can only, well, that's very
Gentleman's draw.
gracious of you. If we can only figure out who we haven't done for next week, that'd be
I'm
nice.
pretty sure it's Man United
I think
and
we've done Wolves.
Man City.
I wouldn't mind doing Wolves. See, we don't do Wolves and Adams one night with the harmonicas.
We might have.
I think we might have.
Actually, we did. We had an awful time.
We could always do that
Scoops.
game as well, though. That game we
That's
had
a
from
good game.
the
Good game. Good
the
game.
Razor game.
All right. So we just have a look at the top 10 of the
Jeez,
fantasy there.
I've had it. I mean, the worst, I'd say, 2 months ever in fantasy.
Okay, so in 10th place is Sean Ryan. In 9th place is John.
Yay!
Sean Ryan ahead of you, young Dan. 8th place, Greg Harrison. Daniel Camartin in 7th. Dave Nolte in 6th. Adam Joyce in 5th. Stephen Vincent in 4th. Shane Lahart in 3rd. Ronan O'Reilly in 2nd. And Stephen Lane on 777, the Boeing, in 1st place. So congrats.
Call him the airplane.
Congrats
I don't know who
to
he
him.
is, but we'll call him the airplane.
He's a good lad.
Anything else before we finish up, my friends?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We have our last episode before the trip to the Theatre of Dreams next week.
And my birthday.
And your well, technically your birthday is actually going to be celebrated before our next episode.
No, but I'm actually
When is your
my
birthday?
birthday is actually in the Theatre of Dreams.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be
That's
spending
so-
my weekend, my 30th weekend, watching Manchester United.
In Old Trafford.
Like, who would have thought that? You're going to watch United in England.
greatest
Man
thing.
United.
If you enjoyed the show, please check us out on at ITK Soccer Show, Twitter, Facebook.com/ITK Soccer Show, and ITK Soccer Show
What?
on YouTube.
Watch Dan's video on.
And please do watch
The
Dan's
Man
video.
United.
It is
It's
a
horribly-
15-minute
It's 15
breakdown
minutes. It's
of
horribly out of date now, but he makes some good points.
And
Except for when he talks
the
about
video editing is
Trapattoni
great.
when he's just high on nostalgia about the Trapattoni days, which was outrageous.
I think we should
Thank you,
do an
Dan.
hour podcast on Trapattoni one day.
What?
I think we should do an hour podcast on Trapattoni one day.
Oh, I'll happily.
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 Okay, please join us again next week as we have our preview episode for Theatre of Dreams, and we'll also be covering everything that happens in the next 2 days of Champions League action and next week's Premier League. Until then, have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you in 7 days.